Hi everyone, this is Lucas from Rats and Ice blog and YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do a special tribute video to my grandfather, who passed away yesterday at the age of 84. He was a great inspiration to me and had a great influence on the person I am today. So yeah, this is going to be what my fondest and greatest memories with him are. I think it started, he and my grandmother ended up raising me when I was till I was 5. So what happened is I ended up being in a foster home when I was very young, and luckily the nurse there ended up actually knowing my grandmother. So they ended up both getting custody of me and brought me into their home, which again, like I said, I lived there until I was 5. I think that really had a positive, huge, good influence on me. If I don't, again, I would not be here right now if I ended up being adopted from another family. My life would probably be totally different, and I would not be who I am today. So definitely a huge, huge moment in my life was them being able to adopt me. Um, so the fondest memories I have with him and the good times and even some bad times is we ended up having a swing set in the backyard, in his backyard, and we would go on that swing. He'd swing, I'd swing on the swings and stuff like that before I had to go to school in the morning a couple of times. And we usually would end up singing "You Are My Sunshine" while we were swinging on the swing set. Another great memory is he got me into McDonald's. I am a huge McDonald's fan. I love McDonald's, and he ended up getting me into it. When I was younger, I actually ended up calling it Vava's. So usually he would ask me what size fry I would want. Now as a kid, you obviously get a kid meal and stuff like that. So I'd say sometimes a large fry. So sometimes if there was a fry like this big, a larger fry than normal, I thought, hey, I actually got a large fry. Again, kids when they're young and their logic, it's funny. Um, we'd also end up having cookouts there when we during the summertime. He would end up being on the grill, always cooking steaks and hot dogs and burgers and stuff like that. I ended up actually having a pool too, so we'd go swimming and stuff like that. I usually would spend the nights over there, so some mornings I'd end up helping him clean the pool and stuff like that when I was older, which was really fun, bonding times. Um, we'd also, during the fall, he would end up having all the grandkids go out and look for acorns and pick them up off the ground. Back then, when he first started, he ended up charging about 5 cents every acorn. So we caught on, and we ended up making a boatload of money. But then eventually he was like, okay, I can't afford this. So I think it ended up being like, for every 2 acorns we got I think like a penny or something like that. Um, kind of cool. Um, during breakfast, during the weekends, he would always end up cooking breakfast for us and his wife. Always get eggs and bacon and toast like that, which was really good. I always looked forward to going over there. I know after I moved out, I would go over there on weekends and just come over for breakfast and hang out and stuff like that. They would also have sat on Saturdays and sometimes during the weekday. End up going to the Olympia diner in Braintree for breakfast or whatsoever. A couple of times when they had gone without me, that they actually ended up seeing Mo Vaughn for the Boston Red Sox, which was pretty cool. At night, I remember also he would end up having a stationary bike and just riding his bike in front of the TV, watching TV. Usually it'd be around the time like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy were on when he would do that. Um, Also, when I was living there, we ended up actually getting a cat, a Persian, which I ended up naming it Mary. And every night he would always brush her and pat her and stuff like that. When when he would sit down on his black leather recliner in front of the TV in the living room. I always loved sitting in that seat too. And he wasn't really tech savvy. Also, um, he really never ever owned a computer or stuff like that. My grandmother, I remember one time, my grandmother bought him a laptop, and he didn't want it. He hated it. But he did love his Game Boy. You know, he had a Game Boy. He loved that. He'd play his little casino games on it and stuff like that. Speaking of casinos, he loved going to Vegas, going to casinos. They also would travel a lot. I remember we'd go out a couple of times. He'd let me play Keno with them. And again, I was like 14, 15 playing Keno, scratch tickets, so it was kind of funny. He also loved giving my grandmother roses and stuff like that. And there'd be times he would give him roses and end up having $100, $50, and $20 bills in it, which I thought was really cool. I wouldn't mind getting a bundle of money with a thing of roses and stuff like that with money in it, which was really cool. There was one event though that did happen when I was older and I was in high school and my parents were going through their separation and divorce. I ended up getting an argument with my mother when we were there, and I had pissed off my grandfather so much that he actually ended up tackling me down on the ground, which ended up being one of the scariest moments in my life. Definitely with him, and it was just a stupid thing on my part to have done, and I don't know why I had done it. His world definitely ended up shattering, though, when his wife passed away on March 2nd of 2014, shattered everybody's world. It was definitely a great loss, and the events just did not ended up being great for him in the next several months. As Mary the cat, she had to be put to sleep a couple days later. He had a little dog, Bambi, that my grandmother had. She ended up having a heart attack. So, and then so it was just bad events happening for him. But again, like I say, he loved going to the casino. So several months after my grandmother passed, I believe it was like in July or August, me and him actually ended up going down to Mohegan Sun. It was a really nice moment that I had with him and stuff. But a couple months later, he ended up actually getting a brain aneurysm. Now, most of the time when you have that, 90% of the time, if not more, you either become in two stages. You either die or you get in a vegetation state or really poor brain functions. And he actually ended up getting neither, as he actually ended up surviving and actually living a good, healthy 10 plus years. In there, unfortunately, he had a couple of bouts of cancer and stuff like that. But other than that, perfect health, excellent health. It's really, really was great to have him like that, for the last 10 years. In 2009, about me, my uncle George, cousin Chris, and cousin Steve, we actually ended up making a daily thing of going down to Mohegan Sun with him. He loved going down there, playing poker. He loved this poker. And it was a great bonding moment for all of us. We'd get breakfast beforehand, and we'd go down to the casino and play and stuff like that. I think we did it well over 6 times or something like that. And always fun doing it. It was definitely worth it. I actually ended up being on overnights during that time at CBS during the first couple of times. So I ended up working that overnight, Saturday going to Sunday. We'd always go Sundays. And then I ended up going to the casino with him. It was always worth it. I never regret it. I'd do it again if I had to. We actually ended up all going one last time, November 24th of last year. And it was definitely worth it. I did lose some money, but in the end, it was definitely worth going with him, and I'm so glad I did. So, as you can tell, he's had a huge influence on my life. Again, I am the person I am because of him, and if it wasn't for him, again, I don't know where I would be. Um, like he just had a strong, profound influence on my life, and it wasn't for him. I just can't say it enough. I don't know where I would be today if it wasn't for him. So I'm gonna close this out right now, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Um, I appreciate all condolences everyone has given me and stuff like that. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I do plan on doing a recap video tomorrow of the Olympic Games. So please stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys later. Thank you again.